Okay, woke up this morning and thought I need to paint. I have so many other things that I'm supposed to do right now, and I'm realizing that that's why I'm not making artwork, because every time I try to make artwork, I tell myself, I'm sure like many artists, that I shouldn't be doing that. I should be doing this other thing. I should be going over here and doing this other thing and helping this other person, and sometimes in life you have to do those other things, of course, those obligations, but if it gets to a point where that's all you're doing, then it sucks. If you never make an art, it sucks. That's my philosophy. That's the negative version of my philosophy. But the upside, the positive side of it is that, here we go, that, well, I was thinking about this when I first woke up, and it's that, can you see any of that? It's that there's different levels of inspiration, you know. I like that there are a lot of people, a lot of artists that talk about how it's mostly just work. it's not philosophizing and pontificating and, you know, sitting around and making the magic happen, you know. It's just whatever art you make, getting out there and making that art. So with that being said, this morning I was thinking of these people that I've kind of been having this recurring thought about, some recurring dreams about, and it's these people. Well, it's us, but it's also like creatures that have, you know, whether you can see them or not, have antlers. And I mean, you could look at it strictly from a story, fictitious point of view, and these antlers, in that point of view, are metaphorical. You know, they're not necessarily real antlers, but then again, maybe they are. But the idea behind that person with antlers, or whatever you want to call them, not exactly horns. I like antlers because they have this nature shape that is built in, you know, like roots, except that they come off of a person's head. So there we go. And so I've been having this kind of recurring dream about these people or creatures or, you know, distant family, whatever they might be. And the idea is that the antlers are sort of a interplay between our existence, you know, the three-dimensional existence, and other levels. You know, I like to think of like electricity, lightning, you know, how it branches up, how everything really branches out too. I mean, living things, roots, and lightning, and even water can look that way, stretched out in material. So, but what I like about it, what I've been thinking about, little blue men here. Too funny. They don't have to be blue. Starting out with this color is sort of funny. But yeah, it's kind of a funny thing to think that reality could be manipulated. Our reality, our three-dimensional reality, could be manipulated by beings on other in other dimensions. It's not an easy thing, I'm sure, for a lot of people to think about first thing on a Tuesday morning if somebody happens to be watching this at the same time that I'm making it, or soon enough when I post it. But it's funny, I was thinking in my mind, like, they're gonna look all scary or whatever, these creatures, and as these people, let's call them people, creatures, is like describing the opposition party in politics, those creatures. Those creatures over there. It's just better to say people, I think, even if they have antlers on their heads. But I thought it was going to look a little spooky looking, but instead I think they look normalish, other than the cluster. So then the idea is, really not much different than the way we think here. I don't know if you can see that image, that artwork. So right there, it's just this person. And I like this first layer here. But not much different than the way we think, right? We have, I forgot the numbers, but like our brain, I just heard this recently, our brain makes up something like a sixth, 1/6 of our body weight, I think, or 1/5, probably 1/6, something like that. But then it uses like 1/3 of all of our energy, our electrochemical energy gets processed through that. You want to go outside? Valentine, here, go on. Valentine. Cat's acting like she wants to go outside, but then I think she just wants to say stuff on the video. She wants to be immortalized on Bottomless Inkwell, right? Kitty? Come here. Come on. Well, now's your big chance. Use your big chance now. Alright. Here, Loss. Yeah, so. Interesting, so there's that. So that's one idea I've been thinking about lately. People, how we use our brains, it's electricity, and how, maybe further along in some development of some intelligent races, maybe there are, whether you can see them or not, this electricity just pours out of the brain. So that was thinking about that. And when the cat came here, I started thinking about something else. Valentine was trying to tell me something. I've also been thinking about how in certain cultures animals are intermediaries between the spirit world and our world. And I really like that. It's really kind of comforting, especially if you have an animal in the house. Like there a lot of times people are like, you better earn your keep. You better kill some mice or scare away burglars or whatever if you have a dog or a cat. But as a practical, spiritual side of it, you can essentially communicate with your animal a message, and then it'll carry it on to the spirit world. So that was pretty cool. Cool concept. And so like in Europe, the Europeans would do that with their bees. I think you can look up stories about that, death in the family or something, or an illness in the family, and the beekeeper would go tell the bees, see if they could help or do something. And really it's not much different than saying something to your cat or dog, and what that is exactly, I don't know, who knows, but okay, so I have this person there, this figure, and the stool shadow. It's a shadow play. Let me get that out of there. Oh, yes, I remembered the other thing I wanted to talk about. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about is approaching artwork, art making in a way that I don't normally do that, and that is with a space in mind. So usually I just make artwork. I paint or I sculpt. I make sculptures. I don't really sculpt. I wish I had more clay. If I had clay, I'd say I sculpt, but instead I make sculptures because they're more constructions of other stuff. But that being said, I'm trying to do something different, in so much as when I'm making artwork now, try and think of the space I want to put it in, because I have a space. Oh, the cat is back. There she is. Say hello. Valentine, say hello. Oh, you just want to go outside? What this is about? There you go. Go on. Big chance. Go on. Oh, cat thing. And they just stare at the door and they don't go out. Yeah, so I'm thinking about the space, where I want to put the artwork. And I used to kind of poo-poo that idea. I think this bad, purity thing stuck in my head. A lot of people have that. You get stuck in one way. It has to be the certain way. This is the one way to do it. You got to do it. That's the way to do it. The way. And boy, what a crock of shit that is. So it's like you get put into a universe where there's an infinite number of ways to do things, and somebody comes along and tells you, like, this is the one way you got to do that. And it's really refreshing if you can break away from that and explore lots and lots of different ways to do something, right? Instead of just, trapping yourself or letting somebody else trap you into thinking there's only one way to do something. So, which leads me to the last thing I was going to talk about today. Besides making artwork and thinking of the space you're going to put it in, which is what I'm trying to do here a little bit. The reason I like that, by the way, is it tweaks obviously tweaks how you're going to make the artwork, but it takes you a little bit out of La La Land. That's what I love about making artwork, is like you get to go to La La Land, everybody out of my way, I'm going to do whatever I want right now. I just realized I swore on this video, and I was going to try to tell my son to watch. Oh, well, sometimes a little swear is going to come out. But yeah, so if you think of the place you want to put this artwork, and it could be anywhere. You can think of, like, I'm going to put it in the woods, I'm going to put it in a cabin, I'm going to put it in a friend's house, I'm going to put it in a museum, whatever that is, it'll have that effect on the final piece, because it'll sort of already be there in your mind. And let's get some other tones here. Oh, I want some green. I desperately need some new palettes too, I see. Yeah, well, we're gonna get more blue. Okay. So, boy, I remember, then I forgot. So yeah, the idea of thinking about where you want to place the artwork has an effect on the art. And I liked it. I think I fought for many years that idea, because I had heard somebody told me something, I took it to heart, and then I was like, okay, that's the way you do it, and never gonna change that. It's not gonna be anything different. And that's just how it is, forever and ever and ever. And it's just to your detriment to think that way. Oh, and I wonder if I'll be able to remember the final thing. Oh, I do remember the final thing I was going to talk about. So this is important. How far along are we into this video? God, we're like almost 15 minutes. It's a pretty crazy long video. But I had this idea of, this is just kind of funny, but I had this idea of trying to counsel people with my creativity. I thought, well, instead of working all these other jobs and doing all this other stuff, maybe there we go. Got a nice purple out of there. I thought maybe I could counsel people, be a creative consultant with their different jobs and doing different things. And I still think I could do that, just like do Zoom conference or video conference with someone for half an hour, and talk about anything, what artistic project, a writing project, a personal problem, something with their job, who knows, anything, and just sort of apply my creative outlook to it. And that could be of a big benefit, I think, to somebody else and to me. But it's funny, I tried to run the ad and it wouldn't work. I was trying to set up an ad and it kept falling apart, and I thought, I don't know, maybe that's the universe telling me I shouldn't be doing that, and I should just paint. Just talk to people while you're painting about different things, and isn't that closer to what you want anyway? And it's true, but I guess you can ask any artist or writer, it can be a little lonely making artwork, so ultimately I think it would be fun to get paid to also talk with people, other human beings and places about creativity and art making, things like that. So, besides just making artwork in the field, you know. So yeah, I like the way this is going. I'm getting the right vibe from. I woke up this morning and had this great feeling, like you know, when you have those dreams when you can't quite remember the details, but you remember the feeling, and that's what I was remembering. And it was it's such a nice feeling when, as an artist, when you when there's something in the air, some electrical thing, some voodoo, you know, that pulls you up and says to you, get moving, go make that artwork, right, Valentine? Oh, do you want to go outside? Go outside. Yeah. So yeah, that's a nice feeling, rather than who is it when Michelangelo, I forget who, I think it was Michelangelo, was described as having El Terrible, which is another thing a lot of artists get, where you just can't talk to people because you're lost in the spirit world, you know, you're so lost in your inspiration and your mastery that you've got this terrible aspect to your character, El Terrible. So that's a different thing artists get. I prefer the other, where you're kind of carried aloft by this inspiration of something, and you know what it feels like? It feels like what Nikola Tesla talks about a little bit, and other people too, where it's kind of an otherworldly thing. You're being carried off by what some cultures would call, you know, manitous, and some cultures would call spirits, some cultures would call angels, you know, some cultures would call them otherworldly beings or whatever it might be. And man, it's such a cool feeling. And when it's authentic, you know. And that's the other deal too. Oh, I'm so glad I remember that. The last thing I wanted to talk to you about. Thank you for subscribing to my channel too, Bottomless Inkwell. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. Smash the thumbs up, like a friend of mine on a different channel says, a guy named Jeremy. I'll talk about him maybe some other day. Today's not the day for his stuff. Smash the like button on there for me. Help the algorithm on YouTube, as he likes to say, so I can actually possibly have one of my art videos do a little better. I don't know if an 18-minute long video is gonna do better, but I was losing my train of thought. What was the last thing I was gonna say? Something about art making in particular. Man, I don't know. There's a lot to say. There's a lot to think about. I got distracted by thinking about subscribers and whatnot. Oh, is it just... Yeah, I'm losing my train of thought. Well, I'm having an excuse to make another one. I am going to try a lot harder to make more videos, because I haven't been able to focus the right way on the right things. And, you know, this pandemic came by and I quarantined, and I tried different strategies to do different things, and then lost touch with the thing I mainly wanted to do the most, is making artwork. So it's a bummer. It's a bummer, but quarantine's not over. I still have a little bit of a chance here to do some more things, to be carried away here. And that's a good feeling. So yeah, this feels good. I'm getting the message across, whatever that message is. I don't know exactly. I guess it, you know, the feeling I had from that dream waking up was this compelling thing. You got to get out there. We're delivering an important message to you, Ben Zoltak, and you need to put it in paint and get it out there, because there's a couple people, and we're not going to tell you who, but there's a couple people that got to see it. and you're the one who's supposed to deliver that. So yeah, I have a lot more to say about this stuff, and I will talk more about it. I think I'm gonna wrap this up, because I'm gonna jump into the next set of things, or I may just sit here and paint a little bit without the YouTube video setup. Blah blah blah. Maybe I didn't finish. Oh, last thing. I didn't talk about art consulting. If somebody wants to do that, you can contact me through YouTube. You know, you can. It's easy. Just leave a message down in the comments. I watch this stuff, and I could set up a Zoom meeting if you wanted to. If it's something you want to do, I would be happy to give that a try. And it could be anything. Like I said, it could be a specific project. It could be just to chat about life. You know. But it's something that I thought I could turn that into an element of my career. I think that would be really helpful for other people and helpful for me too. So, yeah, reach out if you want to leave a comment and say, hey Ben, contact me. I want to talk. I want to chat. You know, I don't know that I would have. There's certain advice I wouldn't be the best one to ask. But then there are certain things when I know I would be, because over the years, people, they just constantly tell me, like, I never would have thought that. I'm so glad you told me that. I'm going to give that a try. You know, whatever it might be, some technique that they're doing some work on, or something in their life they hadn't thought about. And so that's what I have to offer as far as meeting somebody. And then this way I don't have to run a big ad. I just talk about it, and maybe there's somebody who's interested, or maybe there's somebody knows a friend who'd be interested. And I'd be happy to chat in person too, but nowadays I know we're trying to still quarantine and I think find ways to earn a living without burning up fuel. I think that's what, I think there's an element of that too, with all this going on now. Okay, this video has lasted almost a half an hour. I think it's way too long, isn't it? Too long, but I got a lot done. Feels good. This is going in a good direction. So thank you for joining me. My name's Ben, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Bottomless Inkwell, if you may. Ooh, look at that. Yes, I talked to a person a couple years ago. They're like, I didn't know you could subscribe to a YouTube channel. Yes, you can subscribe to a YouTube channel. Just gotta hit the subscribe button. Hey, there we go. Here's what we're looking at. Yeah, it's a decent start. I need to get some kind of other energy going into this. This is a good start. I gotta calm the rest of that down a little bit. But yeah, all right. This is Ben, and we'll see you guys. Ciao.